Hey y'all, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark. Donald Trump had another press conference at one of his houses. He seems to always have his press conferences at his houses, which is not really traditional in campaigns. Usually you go and find a local small business to do a press conference at, or a farm, or you get some teachers and cops or something. But Donald Trump likes to have them in like the lobby of his gilded business, probably part of his grift. There are three lines that I really want to focus on. Three elements of this press conference. A lot of it was like a very long ramble before he gets to a handful of questions, and there's a lot of the usual Trump stuff there, but there's some particular crazy that I just think we'd be remiss if you don't talk about it, because as we've talked about on here before, he says all this crazy stuff, and people are so used to it, the media is so used to it, that it doesn't even get talked about. Like, I bet, for example, you haven't seen this clip from today of Donald Trump talking about prosecuting Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi should be prosecuted for that, and she should also be prosecuted for J6 because she turned down 10,000 or any number she wanted, soldiers or National Guard. And I hope you all read John Solomon and what John Solomon wrote 2 days ago.
That's insane. That is insane. Like, Donald Trump wants to be the president, and he's talking about how he wants the Speaker Emerita of the House, his political foe, prosecuted. It's crazy on multiple parts, and it's crazy because that he's promised that he wants to get retribution. He's serious. This isn't just rhetoric. Whoever he puts in the DOJ, that's what he's going to want from them next time. I mean, he's already signaled it. He wants the Trump Department of Justice to go after his enemies. So this isn't bravado, and this is like third world country type stuff. It's not like he's saying, "Oh, an independent judiciary should, they might look into this and see." Like, it's not like any of that. It is just direct political targeting, and then it's like, what does he want her targeted for? Like, there was some discussion of stock trades, but then he gets into January 6th. Trump was the one that did January 6th. There wouldn't have been anybody there on January 6th charging the Capitol if it wasn't for Trump. This idea that like Pelosi wanted it to happen, or didn't have cops there because she wanted to make Trump look bad. This is all ridiculous. We have had the ceremonial transfer of power. We have had the certification of the Electoral College in every election since the Civil War, and there's never been a mob storming the Capitol before. It isn't the job of the Speaker to protect the Capitol from a rabid mob of racist freaks on the day that they certify the electoral count. The idea that she should be prosecuted is absurd. So the whole thing, it's corrupt, it's ridiculous, it's conspiracy mongering, and most of the folks who cover Donald Trump don't even notice it. It's just like, okay, whatever, next. The second clip is something that he's been talking about quite a bit, and there has been some coverage of, but since it's in my home state of Colorado, I do feel like I should weigh in on it. Let's watch.
We'll send a federal law enforcement, large group of people, but a tough group of people, to liberate Aurora, Colorado. The governor of Colorado is petrified of these gangs. These are Venezuelan gangs with equipment better than our military has, going in with guns. The governor of Colorado is a coward. He's afraid to do what you have to do.
Okay, so Jared Polis, who we've had on this podcast, I think is probably the best governor in America. The idea that he is like a coward, and that there is this rogue gang that has better weapons than our military, which like doesn't even make any sense. I mean, like, what do they have? They have good guns, I guess. Like, do they have drones? Do they have fighter jets? I mean, like, obviously, a couple, they don't have better weapons than our military. Obviously, that's preposterous. But then he talks about how Colorado needs to be liberated. He's going to send in some National Guard, some tough guys to liberate Colorado. Like, everything's great in Colorado. Colorado's thriving. People want to move there. Like, inflation is down, home values are up, crime is down. I mean, like, Colorado is one of the best places in America to live. right now. It has there's nothing that needs to be liberated. Sure, there's crime places. There are elements of there's migrant crime there. There's domestic crime everywhere. There are migrants that have come into Colorado. There is that apartment building situation in Aurora. There's a kernel of truth to this, but the idea that everything is out of control and some jackbooted thugs from the federal government need to come in to liberate Colorado is going to be news to the people smoking pot at the Kevin Abstract show at Red Rocks tonight. Okay, things are fine, and Governor Jared Polis is very popular, and they're doing a nice job. Okay, finally on the way out, as I said, you didn't take that many questions, but on the way out he did stop for one, and it's pretty funny. Let's listen.
Are you going to pull your endorsement of Mark Robinson?
I don't know the situation.
Do you believe that you...
Oh, that's interesting. Now you don't know about Mark Robinson. It's who's that? What was that name? I'm getting kind of old. I couldn't hear. Could you repeat that? Mark Robinson. Doesn't ring a bell. I called him Martin Luther King 2.0, Martin Luther King on steroids, a while ago. Said he was about the greatest thing ever, and a big rising star that everybody's going to be hearing about. But now that you mention it, not ringing a bell anymore. Now that I see that he's called himself a black Nazi. Donald Trump knows everything. Donald Trump does not read. He does not have interests. He doesn't really talk to his children. What he does is he golfs, and he consumes right-wing political news. That's it. He's just an old man that golfs and watches Fox and Newsmax and reads weird MAGA blogs that get printed out for him, and that he sometimes scrolls on his phone with the really big font. That's what he does. So not only is he aware of Mark Robinson, he's deep in it. I mean, he knows everything. All right, this is his only interest, his only hobby besides golf, and the whole fake thing. It's funny, it's mockable. But it also just tells you everything about where the party is. That you can't condemn a black Nazi. This is just a thing in the Trump era, all right? When Steve King was this racist congressman from Iowa, it took too long, but eventually Republicans expelled him from Congress. Todd Aiken, when he made a comment that was nothing like Mark Robinson's comments. He was just kind of dismissing the idea that a woman could get pregnant from rape. A ridiculous, wrong conspiracy theory, and he was right to be condemned. But I don't know if you're comparing that to saying that you're a black Nazi and that you wish you had slaves. I think that's worse. And so, the fact that the party is now so devoid of any moral center, any moral core, any red line. That the standard bearer, can't even, just has to pretend like they haven't heard of this because, they can't actually offer a view that the leader of the country has some kind of moral standard that they will abide by, I think is extremely telling and also amusing and also sad and also a reason to vote for Kamala Harris. So there it is. That's my evening update. I was flying back from New York, and this press conference was happening, so I had to pop on here and share my thoughts with y'all. We'll see you later for the Weekend Bulwark podcast, and if there's any breaking news, you'll know I'll be hopping on here to give you my takes. See you soon. Subscribe to the feed. Give me a thumbs up.